Would you believe me if I told you it was possible to have a multi-six-figure-a-year holistic nutrition practice solely based on word of mouth and referrals? No paid ads, no crazy marketing tactics. If this has you intrigued, my friend, I am so glad that you are here because I am bringing on my friend Jen to show you exactly how she has created this for herself, how she also helps other practitioners do the same thing. And if you are interested, she is going to be showing her exact system for serving over 1,000 clients in the last 5 years without burning herself out. Jen Basie is back on the Profitable Nutritionist podcast, and she had to be because we had a chat a few months ago and had a lot of questions that came in afterwards. So this is a part 2 episode to our last chat with Jen about how she has worked with 1,000 clients in the last 5 years without losing her mind. And she's going to go into more detail on that today. So if you are listening to this on the audio podcast, below, you are going to see somewhere in the description a link to watch it on YouTube, which you may want to do because we're going to do some screen sharing with Jen. And if you are watching this on YouTube, then we are also going to link up that previous episode in both of the descriptions as well. So you can go back and watch our first chat with Jen and you'll have all of the information. So that was a weird little intro. But Jen, hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm so good. Happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. Yeah. Do you want to tell everyone the abbreviated Cliff's Notes version of who you are, what you do, what company you're with, why you're amazing, and why you've had 1,000 clients in the last 5 years?
I absolutely can do this. Thank you again so much. Okay, Jen Basie, registered holistic nutritionist. I have been in the health and wellness space for almost 20 years, but I became a certified metabolic balance coach in 2020. When I first became a coach, I genuinely had no idea what was about to unfold. I became a coach because metabolic balance resonated with me. So the key pieces with metabolic balance is that we have a medical team who runs blood work. So we run labs, which really levels up your credibility as a nutritionist, a health coach, a wellness professional, as somebody who is beyond your scope of practice to be able to run the labs. We run the labs for you. So running blood work and being holistic and whole food. So no, pills, shakes, injections, things like that. So that's what really resonated with me. So when the world shut down, I took the metabolic balance certification and I just started coaching some friends and family with the program. And the results were profound. Like they couldn't believe what they were achieving. They couldn't believe how great they felt. The weight loss for those with a lot of hormonal conditions that, they had been struggling with for years. So, and that was it. I resigned from my full-time corporate job and I decided to go all in on metabolic balance coaching because the results of the program blew me away. So I started coaching clients one-to-one, just the way a lot of us do, the way I had done in the past. And then my dream originally when I was coaching the program was to be waitlisted. I was like, imagine I was that practitioner that like everybody wanted to get in to see me. Everybody wants the program. There's a wait list. I was like, that was the dream until it happened. And I was like, hey, this is amazing. However, it's actually a problem, right? When you're that busy, when you're coaching one-to-one clients. And so I was using the program and then from there, I just call it the natural progression. From there, I built out an automation system. So I was able to coach my clients, but everything from the moment I would put in their start date would be automated content so that they would get check-in emails from me, reminders to book themselves into my calendar. And so I would just wake up every morning and go, oh, who do I see today? And it added a lot more personal touch points as well. And so I was, again, had the capacity and the ability to onboard even more clients that way. And then from there, when I was still really, really busy, is when I built out a full online program. So a full course, it's a 12-week course. It has drip content. You get a new module every week. You get a workbook. You get an app. You get absolutely everything. So, yeah. So in the first 5 years, I had over 1,000 clients. So last year I did over 300 clients. So over 300 clients in a year with ease, right? So it's been an amazing journey. So that's kind of the Coles notes, but the reason that it's so effective is because it's so results driven. I can tell you I've never spent a dime on advertising. Not that I wouldn't. You think you could, there's so many opportunities too, but every single one of my clients was a referral. Every single one.
Yeah. Word of mouth, word of mouth. Because when the system works, people refer. Okay, so in addition to working with 300 clients just last year, and with these, Jen does a couple other things too, like runs Metabolic Balance Canada and coaches and helps them to replicate her system. And Jen has been on my radar. We said this in the last episode, so we don't need to belabor any of these points, but I'll just bring anybody up to speed who didn't listen to that yet. Jen is on my radar because a lot of students in TPN that are very successful in their practice are metabolic balance coaches, meaning they use the metabolic balance system. They outsource the lab testing and the interpretation of the lab results and the creation of the custom meal plans through metabolic balance instead of doing that themselves, which is how they're able to serve more clients. Their clients get great results. It's a great system. And so metabolic balance was on my radar because I had seen, as we know, success leaves clues. And so I had seen some of my most successful clients at TPN that were like, it's such a great system. It's so great. My clients are getting incredible results. My life is way easier as a practitioner. I love the system. So it was already there. Jen and I connected. And then the rest is kind of history where I said, can you come in and talk about this? And we have partnered a little bit in the sense that I am now actually talking about metabolic balance here on the podcast, on the YouTube channel, Inside TPN. And the reason I'm doing that, where I don't typically do that, I don't typically align myself with other brands or promote other brands, but I will if it's going to get people really good results and if it's in the best interest of my audience, which this definitely is. And I know that because I've seen such success from coaches in my program that use it. So I can vouch for the fact that I know it's successful. I've seen the success from our coaches. If I was going to start my holistic nutrition practice back up, I would 1000% use metabolic balance. I would get certified and I would have all of the lab testing. I would do the cool lab testing that we all want to do, but I would not spend time on certifications to go figure out how to do that myself. That sounds really high pressure. Even though I'm really interested in it, I would just plug into a system where somebody else does that for me and has the liability of that for me. So that's what we do I say we, I've weaseled myself. That's what we do at Metabolic Balance. I've never done it with Metabolic Balance, but that's what we do here. That's what Jen's going to talk about. And we thought it would be really cool today to do a little screen share and show what that actually looks like, because a lot of the questions that we got after our last episode, and we've had a lot of people that have joined Metabolic Balance that have been successful, already been running plans for their clients, which is really cool. But we have people that are like, can we see what this looks like? Like Jen says, there's an app. What does the app look like? What does it look like to enter a plan? What does the blood work look like? I don't even know if those are all of the questions, but I know for me, it is useful to see what does this actually look like. Jen was like, let's do it. Let's do a screen share and I can show what the back end of this looks like. So as a practitioner, you guys can get a better idea of what the system looks like and you would know if this would be a good system for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. I will say the intention is it really is it's like a business in a box, like something just dropped off on your doorstep with absolutely every resource that you could possibly need to be successful. Our number one primary goal is, of course, to change as many lives as possible through the power of personalized nutrition, right? So we want as many clients on program so that they can experience it, but we can only achieve that through our health and wellness professionals and through our coaches. And so we need to make this as user friendly and as easy as possible for you to be able to implement in your own business. So that is what we have done. So let me share my screen and I'll just walk through the process of becoming a certified metabolic balance coach, just really how user friendly and how simple it is, and entering a plan. I'll literally just walk you through the process. As somebody who used to do symptomology assessments, from the time I would do the symptomology assessment till I had a fully created plan would usually take me 3 to 4 hours. Now I can create a 100% science-backed program within 3 to 4 minutes. I literally rely on the team. So just so everyone knows, we work with a medical team of doctors in Germany. That's where metabolic balance originated over 25 years ago. And so there's a few key pieces. You literally do the intake form with your client. So there's information that you need as far as if there's any, medical history, taking any medications. Of course, the simple stuff, height, weight, date of birth, any food allergies. You do the intake form. You send them for blood work. We take care of all of that for you, regardless of where you're located. We do have options in order for your clients to get blood work. And then your only responsibility is data entry with those results. So we're not responsible for the results. Our medical team of doctors is responsible for abnormalities. We take care of all of that. It's literally data entry. So let's dive in to see just how simple it is. And then your plan is generated. And then you effortlessly are able to coach your clients through the program. And what's really important about it is it's easily digestible information. So the majority of our clients that we're working with are busy. They're so busy. So they just need something that's simple, whole food. What should I eat? When should I eat it? How is this going to impact my, hormones, reduce my inflammation, my blood sugars, all of that. The program does all of that, and it's simple for them to follow. So it's not an overly complicated protocol, which is why I get so many referrals, because people can follow the program. It's really, really straightforward. So
Yep.
let's dive in.
Okay, couple things while Jen pulls up her screen. I don't think I told you this, Jen, but I'm going through as a client. I have one of the practitioners in TPN is I'm like a practice client of hers. So I actually got my blood work done. I'm getting my plan right now. So I'm going through this from the other sides. I'll weigh in on like, the things that I've noticed so far. I haven't started eating my plan yet. I got just got started with it. So okay, so we'll talk about that. Secondly, if you are interested in learning more about metabolic balance, becoming a metabolic balance coach, Jen is also going to give a really amazing TPN only offer that we will have linked up in the description, either of the podcast episode or of the YouTube video, wherever you're watching this. It will be time sensitive. So if you're watching this in November 2025, it will be the time for you to take action. If you are watching this in the future or listening to this in the future, we will always have the best deal for metabolic balance through TPN always linked up in the description of the video or the podcast episode as well.
Yes, you've got it. We are doing something that's very special, never ever been done before, never will be done again. So it's very special if you are tuning in at this time, the November 2025. However, through TPN, we will always make sure it's the best possible offer, but something really, really exciting coming up. Okay, so let's dive in here and just kind of walk through the process. So I'm going to share the screen here. So what happens when you first become a coach? So when you enroll to become a coach, you get access to what's called our Coach Hub. And so you can start your training immediately. So in the Coach Hub, we'll go through some of these resources here. There's a few key components. So we're going to go into courses. Let's click on the courses, and I'm just going to open up the courses. And again, if you can see, there's Canada and there's the US certification program. So there's three key components to the certification program. So there's just a little bit of paperwork with onboarding. We make it really, really user friendly. You just fill out a little paperwork, check, check, check. Amazing. The theoretical part of the training is done by Dr. Lemon. So Dr. Wolf, fun fact, was the one who created the program in Germany, and she just put, new spin, new science. And so you can see here, there's 16 lessons. And this is, again, each lesson is 30-ish minutes, 30, 40 minutes, maybe, easily digestible information for health and wellness professionals. A lot of this is a refresher, right? So we really dive into the science of the program, how metabolic balance was created, basically how we run 36 lab values, and how we take each lab value correlates to specific foods with specific nutrients to achieve optimal balance. So we really dive into these lessons. So you do your first 8 lessons, and then there's just a little questionnaire. This is just to make sure that you retain the information. From there, you do the second 8 lessons, and then there's a final questionnaire to make sure you retain the information. So this is all self-paced, and once that is complete, then you're done the theoretical part of the training. Then, very exciting, the next part of the training is preparing your own meal plan. So we dive into becoming your own first client, everything that you would need as a client, so that, that personal profile form I was telling you about, all of the steps to complete your blood work, and just depending on your location. And then you dive into the practical part of the training. And again, this is really, really step by step. So there's an introduction to the practical part of the training. And then, of course, it's like, steps with the back office. So how you're going to get set up to create your own meal plan. And the nice thing about it is everything is, once you've done a step, then you hit complete and you hit next. So once you stay on that step until you've completed it, then you hit complete and next. So it really, really walks you through so that there's no confusion. It's really well organized. You do everything in order. So once you have got your own labs, you've got everything done, then it's how to request a meal plan. So this is how you actually go into the back office and generate your own meal plan. And so I thought I would do that with you, because I was mentioning I can enter a meal plan. So you're going to go into the portal, and I was mentioning that you can enter a meal plan. What used to take me 3 to 4 hours takes me 3 to 4 minutes now. So really, because it just takes minutes, I'm going to show you just how simple it is. So at this point, you've met with your client, you've done an initial consultation, and you've gathered the information, you've sent them for blood work. So there's
Took about 10 minutes, I would say. The initial information, because I just did this, it took about 10 minutes. And the blood work was local to me. I just had to schedule it online, and I went to Quest Labs and got that done. And that was super simple. And then all of the results got automatically sent to the practitioner I'm working with. I didn't need to do anything on my end about that. I just literally needed to show up and just do it.
Really, really super simple. That's just it. We make it's user friendly where it's just here's the consent form, personal profile form, get your blood work done. So once you have that information, exactly. It's very yeah, it's like it's just so seamless. And so really you come into the portal and you can't mess this up. It's literally as simple as data entry. So we're just gonna do, we're gonna have Jane Smith here who just joined the program. Oops, sorry, that's me. Sorry. Okay. And so very simple. She was born in 1970 and sure, she was born in August, female. Email, I'm just gonna make it up. So I will say that let's just do here, hotmail.com. You do have to enter the email because it does correlate to an app. So there is a metabolic balance app that every single client gets with all their personal meal plan. It gives them absolutely everything. There's so many features on the app for tracking progress, but they'll only have access to the app with the email there. So I'm in Canada. If you're in the US, again, you would just pick your country. That's the mandatory the pieces that you would need to fill in here. Yes, they sign the client consent form. Yes, they're giving me permission to relay their information to Metabolic Balance Global, which is the company in Germany, and they're giving consent for communication so that we can actually send them their plan and send them that communication. So now we're going to add this client into the portal. Majority of clients do come for weight loss, but I will say it is a health and wellness plan. So the program was originally designed to support those with metabolic syndrome, so hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, and obesity. Nowadays, the program has really evolved to be very supportive for hormonal health and digestive health. So a lot of people will choose weight loss, but several people will come just for the benefits of the health benefits, and they don't necessarily also have a body composition or weight loss goal. So weight loss, because I entered in a female, we are going to confirm the program is not for pregnant women. And then really simple, we're going to save and continue. So this is where you would have the information from the intake form. And so we're just going to make this up. So this client is current weight is 200 pounds. Let's say they're 5'5". And we're going to make up these, of course you would have this information, but really simple. You just need height, weight, and a few measurements. Let's say the goal weight is 150. And then we're going to save and continue. So here's where you get the option to put in food preferences. We do work with vegetarian clients. We work with those who there's certain foods they don't like, or for religious purposes they want to keep out. So for example, let's say you have a client who absolutely will not eat pork. And then let's say so this is like proteins, like really specific proteins if we just want to remove the proteins. But let's say you have a client who is allergic to mango. So you're going to come down into the fruit section and you're going to check off that they absolutely cannot have mango. And you can see here, like there, legumes, we can go into, obviously vegetables is going to have a ton. We can get really specific with things that we want to remove from the plan. However, if there's a vegetable or a fruit that comes on plan that they're like, oh, I don't really like that, no problem. We'll just skip over it. I really focus personally on the main proteins. Like, will you consume animal proteins or, do you like fish and seafoods, things like that? And again, this is all really, really easy for them just to check off on the intake form if there's any proteins that they absolutely do not want included. So anything here is what we're removing, what we want to make sure does not come up on their plan, and we're going to save and continue. Here's where we have the opportunity to enter any medical conditions. And so first off, these are the most common medications that we would need to know that they're on. So of course, blood pressure medication, cholesterol, diabetic, anything to do with metabolic syndrome. If someone's on hormones or, so birth control, thyroid medication, these are really important. So these are the medications that we are going to list here. In conjunction, we can list any conditions. So if there's any conditions that the client has, any medical conditions, maybe they're not taking medication, but it's important for the medical team of doctors to know that they have this condition, then you would put it here. So, I work with a lot of women with endometriosis or PCOS, of course, diabetes. I do work with a lot of clients who have depression. I will say for them, a lot of their symptoms really subside when we get them on plan. Point is you have full flexibility here that you can enter any conditions. The nice piece about this as well is if there's additional information that you feel the doctor should need to know, you also have an opportunity to enter a note where if there's something not listed here, of course, you can make sure that they know. So save and continue. Really simple. This is where you'll put a personal note to your client. So a lot of our coaches will just have a note that they save and they put the same note. But if you want to write a really personal like note to a specific client that, maybe they're dealing with a specific condition, just gives an opportunity to put this here because then it will generate on their plan. So we're going to save and continue. So there's a number of lab patterns. This is the one that I use based on my location. And like, it's literally this simple. So I am going to enter. So let's say this client completed their blood work. Well, let's say they completed it today. So today's November 6th. And I'm literally data entry here. So the labs, like I said, we do 36 lab values, and each one is going to correlate to specific foods. So we're just going to go through. You can see here as I'm entering right now, this is all, a full hematology report. So this is cell function. The body's ability to transport oxygen and nutrients throughout the body is really important. We're going to go through, of course, anything that's we need to know for imbalances or deficiencies. So I'm entering iron. Of course, fasting glucose level is really important. Particular client has a lower, which is uncommon. Oftentimes we'll know if people are pre-diabetic. I've gotten pretty familiar with where to source the labs on here. So we're going into sodium, we're going into potassium. So we're going into urate, which is here. Okay, I'm going to come down. So this is where we're going to do a full, sorry, 12 panel on the liver. So we're going to determine if there's any congestion in the liver. All right, which is really important, of course. We need to know that. We also look at things like enzymes, the body's ability to break down and digest nutrients. Right now, I'm going to flip back up here.
So all of these blood values that you're grabbing right now, in the certification, it has explained like the why we're collecting these already. So the coach has a base knowledge of like, why would we even want to know this?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is really important. So to go through the training and have an understanding. So what's really nice is even though us as let's say, health and wellness professionals, we're not using these labs to diagnose, that goes beyond our scope of practice. But the knowledge that you acquire that you can use that when you start to learn more about blood work significantly levels up your credibility, right? So you really start to learn a little more about each lab value, why we're testing it and how it correlates to specific foods. And you can use that knowledge when you're speaking to your clients. So it's so powerful because it really does it puts more of that medical spin on it, even though we're not the doctors. We have a whole medical team of doctors. And this is really what people invest in the program and why the program is a higher ticket offer. So this is why you can level up your clients' results with a program that's so scientifically backed to achieve those results, but you can also level up your revenue because it's a high ticket offer because there's so much value in working with blood work and a medical team and doctors, and you have an app and you have a program and you get personalized coaching.
Highly personalized. Yeah.
Highly personalized. And again, this is the key pieces that clients invest in is the one, as soon as I say we run labs, I need to see what's going on in your body specifically. And I work with a medical team in Germany who creates their own plan. And then I coach you through it. As soon as they hear those key points, they're like, that's exactly what I need. I don't want cookie cutter. I don't want one size fits all. Whatever's happening in my body is different than, the next person or the next person. So this is here where I mentioned where you could request a manual plan. So I would request a manual plan verification. So if you have additional information that you feel is really important for the medical team, you would just click this button here and you would make notes. Otherwise, you've entered the information, you've entered the blood work, and then literally we're going to click generate plan. Because this is a sample plan, I'm not going to click generate plan, but it's the absolute last step. And even with me explaining it as I went, I'm sure it was still probably under 5 minutes. And so I was I was on the call with someone the other day. I was like, literally the time it took me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna relax and have a bath. I ran it, turned it on, entered a plan, and then hopped in. I was like, this is pretty amazing because this used to take me hours to do. So plan is generated. I'm going to go, I'm just gonna pop, so I didn't open that one, but I'm just gonna open a generated plan here. So as soon as the plan is generated, we're going to click approve. Approve means like, yep, I've entered everything correctly. So we're going to generate the plan. And then I'm going to export a plan here. So I'm just going to export it into a PDF just so I can dive even that much deeper and just show you. So plans are generated here. The other thing that they do get is something called the Healthy Lifestyle Companion. So you send them their own personal app link. It's all generated for you. Very, very simple. You send them their app link, and then they can use that. As soon as they click on the link, it opens the app and it sends them to their plan specifically. So now we have a client's plan. So we'll just skip over it. The plan is delivered in 4 phases. We very, very much walk you through the 4 phases of the meal plan. Again, easily digestible information. So there's a welcome letter from the Metabolic Balance team that welcomes them to the program. They can authenticate their plan and, join the app here. And then we really just dive deep. So just to give a little glimpse into it, phase 1 is a very simple 2-day cleanse where we take a little magnesium citrate, which draws water to the colon and prompts for bowel movements. It's just a very gentle cleanse. They're still eating 3 meals, some protein for breakfast, some lighter vegetable soup and stuff throughout the day for these 2 days. The strict conversion phase is phase 2, where they eat only the foods on their plan for 2 weeks. So they do not deviate. They eat only the foods on their plan for the first 2 weeks. In total, this is what's called the 16-day metabolic reset. After these 16 days, we move them into a more relaxed state. We bring in cooking oils and condiments and treat meals and more food choices. And we start to loosen up without deviating, but we start to make things a little bit more flexible while still focusing on their desired health and wellness goals until they've achieved it. And then we get them to the maintenance phase, which is sustainable long term. So at this point, we've explained the 4 phases. Then it dives deeper, right? And so you would get the plan, it dives deeper into each phase. I will say that every client does have a structure of daily rules. So the magic behind the plan is your personalized meal list. In addition to that, there is daily rules that every client follows. And so really, really simple daily rules. So eating 3 meals a day, we are focusing on stable blood sugars, taking a break of 5 hours between meals. Do not allow a meal to last longer than 60 minutes. This is just those who graze, who have their lunch at their desk. Always begin a meal with 1 or 2 bites of protein. This releases a hormone called glucagon, which slows down insulin. We want 1 protein per meal and 3 different proteins per day. And we talk more about having an adequate amino acid profile and how that impacts progress. Ideally not eating after 9 p.m. There isn't a water prescription. We all know the importance of hydration and water, especially for those looking to achieve weight loss. And then the apple a day, which is so simple, but it really does lower your uric acid. It draws toxins to the colon for elimination. It's like a power-packed multivitamin. So these are really, really simple daily rules that does not take long to become habitual. So in conjunction with their meal plan, they follow this structure of these daily rules, and it's highly, highly results driven. So then we go through the phases, right? We walk them through phase 1, we walk them through phase 2. I do want to get here to the meal boxes. So every client has 9 meal boxes. They're completely interchangeable. So you can have any box at any time. So you're not telling them you have to have eggs for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and fish for dinner. They're like, I don't want that, or I don't have that. How it works is each client gets a personalized food list. So they get their protein. So for example, this client, so there's a whole list of proteins here from fish and seafood. There's some dairy products. There's some nuts, meats, poultry, cheese, legumes. Everything is specific to them. In addition to their protein list, they get their carbohydrate. There's the added protein to eggs. They get their carbohydrate list. So they get vegetables, they get fruits. They also will get additional healthy starches, whether it's oatmeal. Some people get, oats or rice, 100% rye bread crackers, 100% rye bread or rye crackers. This is a slow release carbohydrate. It really supports stable blood sugars, but it really supports satiety. Every client will have this unless they are celiac or have Hashimoto's. So they get a generous amount of foods, and then they take the foods on their specific list and they plug them into these boxes. And that's what makes it so easy. It's like, hey, what do I feel like for lunch today? Oh, I'm going to make avocado toast with eggs. So I'm going to pull over some rye bread. I'm going to have avocado for my vegetable list. I'm going to have the eggs as my protein, and then I'm going to have my apple slices or whatever it might be. Point is it's really, really easy. In addition to this, there's thousands of recipes. So there's recipe books, there's a recipe group you can join. There's so many options when it comes to getting creative. So there's no shortage of making it really, really simple for them to follow. And like I said, these boxes are interchangeable. So it's really user friendly. It's just essentially they get their specific foods. They do not deviate from this list for the first 2 weeks. They piece the foods into these meal boxes. And again,
You didn't have to make it.
I didn't do anything. I literally did, like I said, it took me minutes to generate a plan. I love what one of our coaches said. So one of our coaches has been in the health and wellness space, runs a very, very, very thriving practice. She's like, I'm a very good nutritionist and I could nail someone's nutrition plan about 70%. She's like, with metabolic balance, it's 99.9999% of the time. I never question it. I never second guess it. I run the labs. I see what's going on in their body and I know that the program's going to work. So she's like, it gives me the ability to take on so many more clients because I'm not doing all of this back end work. And we make it, again, as user-friendly as possible. All of this information is in an app. They literally just have to piece their meals together. So they're not counting calories. They're not logging macros or points, or they're literally just having the right ratios of nutrients of the right foods at the right times of day. And it works like magic. It's not magic, it's science. But some of my clients were like, what is this sorcery? What is happening? I cannot believe the changes I'm experiencing by eating whole food, just the right foods. It's really, really so impactful. And so simple. And then so again, we go through the plan. There's, we talk about how much water they need to drink. We talk about herbs and spices and fruits and drinking coffee and teas. And like there's there's lots of additional information. There's a condensed version, expert tips for everyday life. We dive deeper into the science behind the rules. I always tell clients, to me, it's really important for you to understand why you're doing what you're doing, not just because it's the part of the plan. So they dive deeper into the science of each rule so that they can learn. There's progress reports, but there's also options on the app that they can use. And then it walks them through the additional phases. So when I'm working with a client, I wouldn't bring in additional phases until later. So I'm gonna pop out of here. I think we've gone. Oh, I'll also just pop over back to the Coach Hub. So we've requested a meal plan, but I'll just kind of point out here as well. There's limitless resources, and so I'll pop into the downloads library, for example. So we provide everything you could possibly need to get your client started. Welcome guides, getting started guides. There's templates, like you can see here. There's a coach's handbook. There's, if you want to do information sessions, webinars, branding, social media templates we have down here for you. Like there's anything that you could need to run your business. We have everything downloaded here for you. Brochures, like anything that you could possibly need. In addition, there's a resource library where we dive a little bit deeper into science. So there's a lot more articles and stuff here. So there's forms, templates, tools. There's so much here. Of course, there is a search bar because there's so much in the resource. So if you're searching for something specific, we have a knowledge library. We do have special deals for our coaches, frequently asked questions. I will pop into the courses. In addition, once somebody has done the full certification, we do have a Build Your Business course, which focuses more on, really growing and elevating the business, which of course is what Andrea specializes in, starting your own meal plan. We have additional courses. Like there's endless information here. So everything that you could possibly need. I am going to pop over here and I'm just going to, okay, I'm going to come back here. So yeah, just that's kind of the rundown. So basically, and to recap it, you become certified. In order to be fully certified is around 20 hours. So you have those 16 theoretical lessons, which is the science. The practical training is where you just enter your own meal plan. You just watched me do it. You follow your own meal plan. At that point, you're fully certified. All of the additional resources are optional. To Build Your Business course.
Okay, pause a second. So you do yourself as your first practice client to like figure out how do you put in a meal plan? How do you get the blood work? You do yourself first. Okay.
And that is included in your certification. So we feel it's really important to experience the program firsthand that you're going to be delivering to your clients. So we purposely include your own meal plan, your own blood work, everything in your certification.
Love it.
Yeah. And it's really that simple. That's it. Like everything is done for you. The other piece too is the community piece. I find that so many of our coaches, they've just been caught spinning their own wheels, trying to run their own business, trying to build their own program, trying to come up with their own offer, and second guessing and have nobody able to spin it off of. This point, with this program, the offer is there. It's a very, very concrete, solid offer. It's what clients want to invest in. But then any questions or support, we have so much. So we do um, group coaching calls. We do roundtables. We do what's called Thrive Thursdays, which is all about your business growth. We have an amazing team at head office. We have an enclosed Facebook group for all of our coaches. I mean, there's so much support of like-minded individuals to also help you grow your business, which is really nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really, yeah,
I see this as being really, really a great choice for two types of people. One is somebody who is very tentative about trusting themselves to decipher lab work or blood work. I put them both together there. If you if that is you, if you're like, gosh, I just know people want this, I have the certifications or I want to get the certifications, but I just don't trust myself to make a protocol for somebody and this feels like a lot of pressure, this is a great option. Like, great option. I see people get really stuck and really second guess themselves for a long time when they could be helping people. So I feel like this is a great track for you if you don't want to go invest in certifications to be able to run your own labs, just want to go faster, or you're not trusting yourself to do that. Great option. The other person I think this is really good for is somebody like you or Jen that was just like the demand is there, the clients are there, and you cannot serve them all. And so you need to simplify, you need to streamline, and you need to outsource some of the stuff that you're doing manually into a system like this where a lot of that can be taken care of and you know that your clients are going to be served at a high level so you can spend your time coaching them. And so you can do what you are best at, which is hyping those clients up, coaching them, dealing with the referrals, doing the marketing side of your business, doing the selling, doing the systems, creating the repeatable processes that is going to serve your business long term. But it's really hard to do that when you are in the day to day of serving clients and have a wait list and there's so many people that need your attention. So both of those types of people, I think this is an excellent option for. We have a lot of support in the TPN program for the business side of it as well. And we have a lot of people in the program that are metabolic balance coaches. So if you are a TPN student already, know that you can plug in there and get a lot of questions answered and hot tips from other TPN members that are already successfully using metabolic balance. If you are not a TPN member, know that inside the community, we definitely will help support you there as well. What haven't we said yet? We need to tell them about this juicy offer. We need to tell them that it's time to get started if they're getting started. So take it away.
absolutely. So yeah, we are running a never before. Are we going to reveal it right here?
Let's do it right here, right now.
Okay, so we are revealing something that we've never done before here for our Black Friday special. So we are running November 26th to 2028. We are having a 50% off the certification. Never done before, never will be done again. 50% off, so half price the certification.
Half price, 3 days only.
3 days only, half price. And we've expanded into the US. Like I said, I'm personally here in Canada. Andrew's in the US. We've expanded into the US. So we decided, you know what, let's come up with this like really, really juicy offer and just get metabolic balance out into the world, but out into the hands of health and wellness practitioners who have just maybe been feeling a little bit stuck, maybe spinning their wheels. And they can, again, absolutely everything is there for you. I would say realistically, for those taking advantage of the offer, depending on the time that you have, if you can, do the certification in 2025, like kind of get those 20 hours in, you'll be ready to have a massive 2026.
Yeah.
The other thing that I just keep touching on is the fact that it's a high ticket offer. So I do feel like I should point out. So for my program, when I tell people everything that's included, I'm going to give you a requisition form. You're going to run blood work. Medical team of doctors in Germany create your plan. There's a workbook. There's the coaching sessions that you're going to get with me. There's an app. Value. I charge $14.99. As soon as they hear $14.99, I run my program for 12 weeks. There's so much value at that price point. And I know Andrea right now is gonna be like, you need to charge way more. Charge way more. You all are absolutely
I
capable.
was gonna say that we have students at TPN successfully selling this for 4,000 plus. So
Absolutely. And you should. And absolutely. And 100%. I would say that would be like the minimum price point.
totally minimum.
But I always like to just point out too, is that, I mean, so when you look at the cost of the plan and the cost of the plan and the blood work, your profit margin is over $1,000. Let's just put it that way, even if you were selling it at $1,500. And so I usually onboard anywhere between 20 and 30 clients per month because everything I just showed you is done. So I actually can literally just focus on coaching them through the program. We do weekly accountability check-ins where they send me progress shots. Like really, that's where my time gets to be spent. And so I would say realistically, most of our coaches coach between 10 and 15. 10 and 15 clients per month consistently.
Mhm.
That's like, it's maybe about 3-ish clients a week. Like it's so doable. But again, it levels up your ticket. It levels up your practice in a sense of that you can actually generate a lucrative income, which something that I've always done work that I was passionate about. I was always doing nutrition, fitness to some degree, but it was like these nominal hourly rates that I was charging and I just couldn't get ahead. So now I have multi six-figure business. My clients absolutely love the results. They love the program. They're happier. I'm happier.
So much so that she's served 1,000 of them via referrals and word of mouth in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, once you simplify the system, and that's what we help you with, like it's the program, this works so well, and it's in how you deliver it. And so I always tell our coaches, like, as much as a lot of our coaches, as you know, Andrea, they have so much knowledge, certification after certification, and they have so much. But clients pay for their results. They invest in there. So they're not necessarily investing in your knowledge, they're investing in the results. And so you need to have a really clear path on how you're going to get them those results. Yes, you get to incorporate all of your knowledge in your coaching, which is amazing, but it's not just the knowledge. It's a very clear, concise, okay, you're going to sign up, you're going to get blood work, we're going to get your plan, we're going to pick a start date. There's that, like everything that they need that they can actually say, okay, I can see how I'm going to get from A to Z because you've really clearly mapped it out. That's what I find clients invest in: the personal program, the blood work, and the fact that it's so results driven. That's why clients are more than willing to invest in the program, because there's so much value to them.
Yeah. I also this isn't something I had thought of before, but when you said that, this just sparked for me. I'm thinking about some private clients that I've worked with that are at the 50 to, let's say, $150,000 a year range. They're maxed out with clients, and their thought and their limiting belief is like the reason people hire me is because of the protocols I create for them and because of the results they get from my protocols and from me reviewing their labs and from me doing all of the things. And there's only so much of you that could go around. So when you're at that level, then there's like two paths. Do you charge more? Do you double your price and work with the same amount of clients so that you can make more money and you can have more resources in your business? Or do you bring on other practitioners to serve those clients and create the protocols? And I have seen 10 times out of 10 that when it gets to that point, the resistance is like, but nobody can do it as good as I can. Nobody can do it. Nobody has the training I have. Nobody has all the specialty I have in this area. Nobody can do it as good as me. And I would challenge that for anybody who's having that thought, like, oh, could this be done as well as I do it? I would just offer that yes, that is possible, and your clients are gonna get so much better results when everything isn't based on you being the bottleneck of all of the creation in your business. You're gonna feel better, they're gonna get better results, more referrals, hundreds of clients, like, just like, can we think about the impact of 1,000 clients that you've worked with in 5 years?
It's mind blowing, and
Their families, their children, their coworkers, like, just the impact of that, of how they show up in the world and take that knowledge that they have and, like, drip it out and plant little seeds. It's incredible.
and I always say, like, when someone refers someone to you, obviously we know that's the highest compliment, but when it comes to their health, they're referring the people that they love the most, that mean the most to them, because those are the people that they want to be as healthy and well as possible, and achieve and have the same transformation that they've personally experienced. So I never take it lightly. When somebody sends me a referral, it's usually their mom, their sister, their best friend, their spouse. And so it's like, again, it's so important for them to that their family member, their loved one gets this experience too. So it really is. I get referrals, I get reviews coming in every single day. I get referrals coming in every single day. I get all these like messages. It's just the most rewarding work I've ever done, to be in such a feel good space that you're making such an impact. And you can only make such an impact if you have a simple, duplicatable system. Because I remember what it was like to be completely bogged down, where I was like working way more hours than I do now with way less impact, right? And so when you have a system that works, you can just trust the system that's in place. And then like you said, you get to focus on what you love, you've invested in yourself because you know this is the work that you want to do. You don't need to get bogged down with all of the paperwork side of things, the science side of things, the actual piecing together a program that's done for you. Just motivate people, support people, create accountability, coach them through a plan that works.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you that this is the time of year to do it. Which is why, when you and I talked about this, we like Black Friday, it's the perfect time of year because you can invest in the certification. December tends to be a time when people kind of hunker down a little bit and are like a little more internal, less out in the world with their business wise because we're so out in the world in like the entire holiday season. So I see this a lot. It's like it's a good time to watch the videos, get certified, get your own plan ordered, and really hit January with a fresh perspective and that energy that comes from like it's go time and I can serve a lot of people and I'm not worried about my own capacity because I got a system behind me. It's just so good. So, so good.
Love it. And I guess I feel like I should share what the price is because even though I said it's half off,
Oh, yeah.
let's really jump in. I was like, oh, people are like, what does half off really mean for those that are listening? So the total certification is $29.97. For the 3 days only, it's $14.97. It is literally what I charge to become a client, and you can become a completely certified coach with every possible resource, every avenue, including your own plan. It
You
is
get your plan. You get to go get your blood work done and get your own plan. So
yeah.
fun.
And then one client and your certification is paid for and you're off for the races. So you really can, again, just make so much impact. And yeah, there's so much to learn inside the program too. There's so much opportunity to create a signature program as well, using metabolic balance as the nutrition anchor, but you can niche yourself. There's so much that you can do with it.
Yeah. And we talked a lot about that on the kind of part one of this, the first time that I had Jen on. We talked about different niches that are really like conducive to pairing with metabolic balance. We talked a lot about that, different industries, different like specialties that would be great for this. So I will direct everybody back to that if you would like to go listen to that conversation. We talked GLP-1s. We talked about supporting people that don't want to be on GLP-1s, the ones that are already on them, the ones that want to come off. We had a whole discussion around that and the nuances of it, which everybody that is listening to this still at this point, obviously you're a health and wellness professional that takes your craft seriously. You need to be talking about GLP-1s. So you got to go listen to that. And that has to be part of your marketing and your sales and something that you're aware of. So I'm going to just remind everybody the offer for the 50% off is 3 days only, November 2025, and it's the 26th, 27th, 28th. That will be linked up below in the description of this video or episode if you listen to the audio version. If you catch this later, we will still have that page going to the best offer that Metabolic Balance has at that given time. So you will always get the best offer through TPN, which is always a special offer, and that will be linked up. But if you are listening live in real time, it is go time. It's the best. 50% off. You will never see it again. That is a for sure. That's not a sales tactic. This is like a one-time only thing. Super excited about it. And then we will also obviously link up that first episode if you want to go deeper into the GLP-1 conversation and the niches, the riches and the niches, all of that.
Yes, I love it. Ah, well, I'm so excited to see so many of you in the program and get you certified and get you off to the races and make 2026 your most impactful year yet.
Oh, that's a wrap. I love it. Thank you, Dad.
Thanks, Andrea.